everyone, welcome back. Today I'm doing another scrap tamper prompt. This is the prompt for day 17 and it is something new which you can interpret in many different ways, such as trying a new technique or a new style. I am using some new products that I recently got from Rosie's studio. And I am just doing a 12 by 12 layout documenting these photos of Emma and my mum on my mum's 63rd birthday. Now this collection was very perfect to document these photos, first of all because of the beautiful pinky purpley colours in this collection, but also because my mum is now retired, but she was an art teacher and this whole collection relates to being creative and being arty. And I thought that was quite perfect to document this story. I don't remember the name of the collection. I do apologize, but I will tag it in the description box down below. Now, I'm just starting off by matting these two photos. I matted them on 3x4 cards, as well as some papers from the pack. And then I'm going to do some mixed media, just ink sploshing, the packaging technique in the background there. I should say I did aim to have the outside corners of those two photos to be the corners that are coloured. When the photo comes back on screen, you'll be able to see what I mean, because I'm going to obviously layer the photos. But when I bring them back, I switch them by accident. So it's the corners of the photos that are overlapping that is going to be the sort of coloured border, which does mean that the coloured border on the back side of the photo does get lost a little bit, but ultimately it doesn't matter because I stuck these photos down already. I couldn't change it because when you put adhesive on photos, it's really hard to take it off without leaving a sticky residue. So there you see me putting it back, and I'm putting the little parts with the color on them in the wrong corner. But like I said, doesn't actually matter. It is what it is. I was kind of in a creative zone here, and so I wasn't really thinking. So much so that I actually down the track still lose I lose a bit of footage, and I do apologize for that, just because I was just really like in the mood for creating. So I was just thinking like, what's next? What am I going to do? And so this particular step was missing, and then I lost some footage. I apologize. I am popping that second photo up on some foam dots because I wanted one of them to just pop out. And what I love about these photos is that they've got those pink flowers. My daughter is wearing a pink jumper and my mum is wearing a blue sort of shirt. And so those are the three colours that I can pull in. Now I do pull in some of the pink, some of the purple from this kit because it's a very pinky purple, so it matched well as well. Now I'm starting after I did actually dry my ink blending as well, I should say. I didn't just jump in because I wouldn't be able to stick anything down, but I did that off screen. And then I'm just adding some tiny words to basically frame or orient these two photos. I'm going to do my journaling on this tag, but I thought it got a bit lost on this background paper, which is a very neutral dotty paper, but because it's got so many black dots, elements can get lost on top of it, so I thought a border is a good idea. I'm adding some twine to this, just some pink twine that I have in my stash. It's a very, very thin twine, thicker than embroidery floss, but thinner than normal baker's twine, which I like on these layouts, but I do double it up as well, which you can see there, but it creates a bit more dimension and a bit more texture when I do that. So, moving on, what am I going to do next? Now I'm going to start, my title. So I struggled with this title because basically what I want to write is Oumie turns 63, and I actually had to call my mum. She was on the phone with me while I was doing this to try to to just confirm that she is 63 and not 62. But I struggled because that photo down the bottom is at an angle, and I'm doing the journaling on top of that, and the background isn't lined, and so I had to use my ruler, and I had to go in like multiple times and redo it. So it was quite funny that I just had to do this title over and over again. So I do cut out most of it because it's not very interesting to watch. So I'm using the tiny little sticker paper to write turns, and the glitter foam chipboard alpha is what I'm using for the main part of the title, but I wanted to hoard that because I absolutely love it. Now the good thing is that you do need to add some extra adhesive to this particular chipboard because it It's not the most sticky of the chipboards that I've ever seen, but that's good because it means that I can reposition it, and I've got a little bit of playroom if I use my glue instead of the backing that came on there as well. So I do like that. See here, I could realign that 63, so that worked out well. Now I decided at this point that I wanted to move the title down a little bit because I thought there was a bit too much of a gap between the photo and the title. So that is what I'm doing here. So I'm moving those little sticky paper stickers. That's what they're called. They're called stickers. I'm moving those down, and then my title will be done. I am going to glue down my tag next and add my journaling a little bit later. I'm also looking at some chipboard because I wanted to use those pencils to kind of use as exclamation marks. So I'm using them next to the title from the chipboard sheet that came in the collection. And then I'm going to glue my tag down. And I'm also going to use some glue to kind of position my twine so it doesn't necessarily fall over my title, which I'll do down the track there. I love that chipboard piece. I can't remember what it says now, sorry, but it's something about like she lived a life of creativity or something like that. And I thought that was just the most perfect sentiment to describe my mum, so I had to add it. This is where I lose the footage. I do apologize. All I did is I took some elements from the sticker books, some flowers and some hearts, and I just created those two clusters down the top and the bottom there to create a bit of a diagonal. This is where I'm gluing down my twine, and you can see there in the corner my daughter has come to visit me. She actually loves watching me craft, and she gives little suggestions, and she just stands there and she just really enjoys the process. She didn't used to when she was little, but just over the last year or so she's really gotten into it and giving suggestions, which I think is really cute. I do put that rainbow down, but down the track I do back it with some extra paper because I thought it needed a bit of solidness, that's the word. But yeah, I do that down the track, covering up my photo so I can do some ink splotches using those two same Distress Oxide ink pads that I used to do the background. Now I felt that whilst I love this layout, it needed something on the top right hand corner, and what I love to do after adding a little black border, what I love to do is create a little flag cluster. I've done that in a lot of layouts lately because I'm really trying to utilize white space, but I do feel when you do have a lot of white space on a layout, you have to bring the opposite end into your layout. Otherwise it just felt like everything was just squished down the bottom. So I'm just using that 3x4 card that we got in the kit. This was like a grid paper, and I'm going to create a little tag cluster down the top. Your eyes will automatically, looking at this layout, will focus on the photos, but then that I feel like that whole photo area is one big cluster, and then it'll just draw the eyes up to the top of the layout. So yeah, I'm just creating, now I'm using the back of that card, so the back of that purpley card was blue, because all the cards are double-sided, which is great, and I'm putting a little sentiment there, stapling that down, adding some puffy hearts because I love these puffy hearts. I don't think these actually came in this collection, but I added them as an extra during the Rosie Studio sale. Now I don't know if I said, but I've got a haul coming up pretty soon where I go through all of the products I got in this collection, and so that'll come up within the next few days. Just adding my journaling, and then going to finish off this layout with some glittery stars, which I don't know why, but I feel like that just finishes a layout. A lot of people add Nuvo drops at the end of a layout or whatever they do, but this, to me, like once I add my glittery stars, that's kind of the final stretch, and I just create like little clusters down where I've already created my little clusters, and I'm going to add those stars there. I love how they sparkle when you look at the layout head on. Anyway, with that, this layout is done. Thank you so much for joining me, and join in on Scraptember. I've got everything, including all the details, linked down below. There's a wonderful playlist and a Facebook group that you can join. See ya.